Alright guys, you're watching Devin from Merit Excavation RC. And today we're going to do a little upgrade on this thing. So, my cousin and me had a good idea. And he, so can we put some cleats on this thing? Cleats on this tracks, hopefully give it some traction. So, I got me some windshield wipers. We're going to cut off the scraper part and actually glue it to each one of these tracks. So, first thing I'm going to do is get this thing apart to where we get the tracks off. Then we'll take it in the house. I'm going to wash the tracks and I'm going to clean everything with denatured alcohol really well. Take your tracks off. All you got to do is just undo these 2 bolts for the blade. Make sure you keep track of your bolts. Slide your blade off. Boom. So this thing has a hard time in almost everything. I've got it weighted down pretty good, but it needs some traction. So hopefully this modification will do it. All right. That sand really loads up in this thing, so I think I'm going to have to wet my sand pile. The dry sand's just a little much. Alright, we'll get these screws put up. We'll get the dozer just set out of the way somewhere. Probably going to have to clean out all this sand though before I reinstall my tracks. Gracious. We'll get it cleaned up though. Alright guys, I took the tracks inside. I washed them really good. Hopefully it'll dry out here. I'm not sure if it really will since it's really humid outside, but we're going to give it our best shot. And we're going to wipe these down with denatured alcohol as well. I just run them under the sink. We want to try to get all the excess water off of them, and that denatured alcohol is going to help clean it up really well where it'll bond. And the alcohol will help evaporate some of the water off of it. So let's get our blades taken care of. So what we're going to do, you can get these. I got them for like $5 at the AutoZone. And what we're going to do is, all we want to do is utilize the strip down here now. I guess I could have probably ordered the replacement rubber online, but I couldn't find any, and I wanted to get this project done today. So we're going to measure us out some stuff. I hate to mutilate a good windshield wiper, but this is like a cheapo brand, so I'm not too worried about it. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this off good and flat. Let's see if we can slide this out. It might actually make it easier to keep it in there. So what we want is this flat piece, and this is going to be our cleat. So let's see how I want to cut this without cutting myself. There we go. What we want, since this is rubber, it should glue pretty well with our other rubber piece. So there it is. There is our track component. So let's take a look at what it's going to look like. So it's going to fit right down in this channel. But what I'm going to have to do is trim it just a little bit. Trim the sides of it where it'll fit 100% in there. All right, guys, now that we got our tracks, or our cutting edge is cleaned up there. Let's see if I can get this thing open. Childproof, I guess. Use this alcohol to clean our tracks really well. So I think I'm going to do it every third track. I'm going to glue a cleat on it. I got a feeling if I do them too close together, they'll actually like float on top of the material. So I'm also going to weight this thing down even more than it already is. It's got a lot of weight on it, but I'm going to put even more weight in it. And the reason for cleaning it with like denatured alcohol is to get all the contaminants off there where we can get a good bonding surface on the glue. I just gotta make sure I can get these tracks to dry. The alcohol should help evaporate the water off of them. Okay, let's let these things dry and we'll get these mounted up. I want to go ahead and measure roughly how long each cleat's going to be. I'll go ahead and cut some of them up. It's going to be really good to have a good sharp knife for this. So I'm gonna cut it up here on the wood. That way I can just slice them. We'll get some cut up and we'll be ready to glue here in a minute. All right, guys, so we've given it a few minutes and we might have to trim some of these tracks just a little bit if they're cleats, if they're a little bit too long, but I think that we got it perfect. So they should sit right in there. Only thing we can do is to test it out, try it out. I think I'm gonna do it every third one. Get a healthy amount of glue in there. Grab us a track. And this is super glue, so it should set up pretty quick. Hopefully the humidity outside doesn't hurt it too bad. I have known cases where certain glues like a little humidity. So hopefully it glues pretty quick. Let's see here. Then again, I might have to use some of my archery glue. We'll check that out here in a minute. So I don't know if this will bond to rubber. Should. I don't know if that glue is going to do it. It's just not setting up very fast. We might have to try something else. I'll grab it here in a second. So the wife had a good idea. I couldn't get any glue to work, and I hot glued it. And I believe it's going to work. I just got to get a little bit of hot glue under that track. But that's perfect. So now that we got something figured out, we're going to get these things hot glued up on here, and I'll show you guys the end result. So I'll probably wind up having to trim them down just a little bit to clear, but I'd rather have it just a little bit longer than not enough. So we'll put a little dab of hot glue in there, and we're going to keep hot gluing these things because that seems to be the trick. So let's try it. All right, so I'm just going to clean up the hot glue mess, but the hot glue seems to work, and we're doing it every third track, and it's adhering very well. So this is going to be an improvement. Look at the aggressiveness on that. And if we have to trim these a little bit, that'll be fine. So we made it just a little bit longer. doing it every third track. We're gonna go all the way around this thing and get this on the dozer on both tracks. All right, so there is the updated track. I just gotta clean up the hot glue, and I've got it all over my fingers. But the hot glue seemed to work very well. And they're stuck on there. That dozer won't have enough power to rip these things off. This is gonna really help getting traction. Look at there. It's just a little messy, but hey, it'll work. Once we'll run this thing a little bit, all the excess hot glue will rub off. But the hot glue was the trick. So we tried all kind of glues to make it work. Hot glue seemed to be the only thing that worked. Now we're just gonna make sure we have clearance on our dozer chassis. So we're gonna keep working. After quite a bit of trial and error, finally figured out something that would work, and I actually hot glued these bad boys on there, and they're strong, and it's going to work, and it's going to clear. So let's just double check everything, and hopefully, let's see here, let's give it 20 gap. I might have to take that drive wheel off, maybe not, might have to. I had it on there a minute ago. Checking all the clearances. Boom. Okay. Just getting all the sprocket teeth lined up is always a challenge. So, moment of truth. I still haven't glued the other side. So I had to use hot glue. I tried all kind of epoxies and stuff. It didn't work. So I know we got clearance. I trimmed everything down. They're probably about a 32nd. But you see, we have like some really heavy cleats now. All the way around on this dozer. With perfect clearance up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this other side knocked out, and we'll be able to test this thing out this weekend. I'll go out today, but it's really wet and muddy, and I've already got this thing sandy and all nasty, so I've got to get her cleaned back up. But we'll test it out here on the porch. Most definitely. So definitely have some bite now. Gracious. So I'm gonna go get the wife to help me get this and all done up, and we'll be ready to go. That's gonna be awesome. So let's try it. Boom, guys, there is the finished product. Yeah, I had to hot glue it, but that's okay. I've got a bunch of tire weights and everything under this thing. We're going to keep improving this thing till it's just amazing. But yeah, man, cleats are on here. Everything clears. I would fire this thing off and run it, but we're going to save that for another video when we get this thing out in the dirt and see how she pushes. But that right there should work. So you guys make sure to like, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.